Hello everyone, in this video we're going to not only graph but also look at how we can label quadratic functions. Starting with the first question, it asks us to use a table to graph it, so let's make an x and y table. We get to pick the x's, so let's do some easy ones like -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. These are easy because the only thing I have to do with those x's is square it and then subtract 4. So I'm going to square the x. -2 squared makes 4, minus 4, which makes 0. 1 squared is 1, minus 4 equals -3. 0 squared is 0, minus 4 is -4. 1 squared minus 4 again is -3. 2 squared is 4, minus 4 equals 0. So with this, we can graph it at -2, 0, -1, -3, and 0, -4, and then those same points are going to be reflected across 0. We can see that in the middle, once we have our lowest point right here, this is the axis of symmetry. Since this is the lowest point, this is the minimum. Since it's also the minimum, it's going to be the vertex. The minimum and maximum of a parabola will always be the vertex. And we can connect these points with a curve. And we're going to put some arrows on the curve because we can continue plugging in numbers. We can keep on plugging in numbers. We can plug in 3. If we plug in 3, we'll get 9 minus 4 equals 5. So that means my third point would be up here, like that. And then it would be reflected onto the left side as well, because a parabola has two sides that are mirror images of each other. And then the question asks us to state the domain and range. The range is any y that's possible. So for the range is, what can y be? What is the smallest thing? What does y have to be bigger than? Y is the vertical line, so the smallest dot on the vertical line goes through -4. That means that y is never less than -4, and if it's never less than -4, then that means that it must be greater than -4. So that's why we have -4 is less than y. And then, what can y never be? Well, y is going to keep on going up, 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 up. It's going to keep going upwards, but it'll never stop. And if it never stops, then that means it'll go up until it approaches infinity. But it'll never get there. So we don't put the equal to sign. Then for the domain, that's just the x's. The domain are the x's. If we look at these arrows, we see that it's going upwards and leftwards. It's going upwards, and it's also going left, and it's also going right. So because it's going to go left, and it's never going to end going left, then the domain goes towards -infinity, and that also goes up to positive infinity. We can keep on plugging in x values forever in the negative direction, and we can keep on plugging in x values unlimitedly as long as we want. We can keep on plugging in new different x values no matter how large they are, and we'll still get something that we can plug into our original equation. I'll go to number 3, and we're going to do it with the table again. X, Y, Let's do some easy numbers. -2, -1, 0, and let's plug in like a 5, just to see what happens. Okay. -2 squared makes 4. -2 times -2 makes another 4. And we're going to subtract 6, and we get 2. -1 squared is 1. -2 times -1 makes 2. We're going to subtract 6. It's going to give us -3. 0 minus 6 is -6. And then 5. Oh, we should go to +1 and see what happens there. 1, 2, and then I'll do 5. 1 squared minus 2 minus 6, -7. 2 squared minus 4 minus 6 is -6. 5 squared minus 10 minus 6 equals 9. 9. Okay, let's plot these points. -2, 2. -3, sorry, -1, -3. No, we don't have negatives. 0, -6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, -7. And then we turned around, and then we plugged in 5. Over here, we would have been off the graph, like up here. Let's connect these. It would go something like that. The domain. X's. This graph is going to keep on going left. We can keep on plugging in numbers as small as we want, and we'll never get something that we can't actually plug in. It'll never give us a bad answer. We can keep on plugging in numbers to the right. We can go all the way up to infinity, plugging in positive x's for the range. Well, it looks like the smallest answer we are ever going to get is -7. -7 is the smallest y. So y is going to be greater than -7 or equal to. And the largest y, this graph extends upward forever to infinity. And why don't I go ahead and just label that this is the minimum. It's also the vertex. And the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry goes through the vertex. So the axis of symmetry is at x equals 1.